Welcome back to what should hopefully be the last video in 7th grade's Unit 1, Perfect Squares and Square Roots, where you cannot use a calculator on this portion of the SOL. The first video I made, I went over just what each of these videos was going to be, the essential questions, there are 3 of them, and then how you can use your multiplication chart to help you know your perfect squares. Then I went on to explain essential question number 1, what is a perfect square? Essential question number 2 in the next video, what is the difference between squaring a number and finding the square root of a number? And then the last video I just made, essential question number 3, what is the relationship between a geometric square, which is a shape, a perfect square, and a square root? And that essentially boiled down to that a perfect square is the area or the inside of the square, and what is on the inside of the square goes on the inside of the radical symbol, and a square root is the side length. So that is going to be very crucial. In this last video, I decided to make, even though I didn't say I was going to from the beginning, this one is hopefully going to be a quick rundown of some of the applications of square roots. And I'm going to adjust my camera just a little bit so you can hopefully have a little bit more zoomed in, and hopefully it will focus well for you. So we are again continuing on with Unit 1, Perfect Squares and Square Roots, where you cannot use a calculator. And you are definitely going to see some word problems when you're working on this. So I have 2 word problems and then some other practical problems that you might see, or applications, I guess, that you might see. So let's get into the first one. Antoine wants to put new grass down in his square-shaped yard. Each side of his yard is 18 yards long. How many square yards of grass does Antoine need to plant? Okay, and perfect squares, square roots, anything related to shapes, it is always helpful to draw a picture. Okay, so I'm going to draw a picture. And it told me that each side of his yard is 18 yards long. So I have 18 here, and I have 18 here. Also 18 on the other side as well. Now, if I don't remember anything else, then hopefully I know I can look at my formula sheet, because you will have that for the entire SOL. And if I look for a square on the formula sheet, then I'll find a formula that says A is equal to side length squared. So that just means I take 18, the side length, and I square it. So 18 squared, which is 18 times 18, and that's going to equal, well, just in case you don't remember how to do that, I'm going to do a little side math over here on the left of how to do that multiplication. 18 times 18. You stack them, line them up. 8 times 8 is 64. I carry the 6 because I'm not done yet. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14. Now, I'm done with that 6. And I'm going over to multiply the tens place. So I'm going to add a 0 because I'm not using this ones place where the 8 was. I'm just starting in the tens place. So this is essentially 10 times 8, which is 80, and then 10 times 10 gives me 100. So I add this up. 4 plus 0 is 4. 8 plus 4 is 12. I carry the 1, and 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So this tells me that 18 squared, his yard, the inside, is going to be 324. 324. And I really need to put yards squared. I'm going to write the abbreviation for yards, which is also on your formula sheet, YD, yard. And I'm going to add that little square at the top so that I know anytime you're writing down area, anytime you square something, your answer should have the indication that you squared it. Now, second question. Lily wants to paint a square focal wall, sorry, I forgot that word in the first place, in her room. She knows the area of the wall is 169 square feet. How much tape will she need to put around the edges of the wall to get clean lines? Okay, so again, Lily has a square wall she wants to paint. I'm drawing a picture. She knows the area. Where does area go? That's the inside, right? So 169. I believe in the last video, I just reminded you that what goes on the inside of the box also goes on the inside of my radical. So I'm looking for what is the square root of 169. That is what two numbers can I multiply by itself and get 169. In case you don't remember what some of the tricks I taught you were, um, first thing I can do is think of what numbers do I multiply together that end in 9? Well, 3 times 3 is 9. Okay, 7 times 7 is 49. So if the last digit is a 3 or a 7, then the last digit is going to be a 9. It's obviously not 3 and it's not 7. Let's try the next one. It's going to be 13 times 13, and that is 169. So it equals 13. Now, if you're going to tape off a room to paint a wall, you are going to put tape around all of the edges. How many edges does a square wall have? 4. So I'm actually going to be looking for what we call the perimeter of this room, or of this wall, sorry. So that's 13 times 4. Okay, because it asks how much tape will she need to put around the edges of the wall, not just on one edge. So make sure you are careful when you are reading what your question's asking you for. I don't know if y'all will get one this tricky, but I wanted to give you an example of one that was a little bit trickier, just so I knew you had seen it, and I'm walking you through this. So 13 times 4, or 13 plus 13 plus 13, you can do it either way. 4 times 3 is 12, carry my 1. 4 times 1 plus 1 is 52. Again, we could have done 13 plus 13 plus 13 plus 13, 3, 6, 9, 12, carry the 1, and that is 5. So our final answer is she needs 52 feet of tape. Let me go up and box my answer here. I like to box in answers so I know where the actual answer I was looking for is. Okay, so our first one, we found out that Antoine needed 324 square yards. Lily needs 52 feet of tape to wrap around her entire square wall. And then now we're going to look at a little bit less wordy, but you need to understand the math just as much. So I see x squared is equal to 361. And I believe it was in the third video I made, I pointed out that to get rid of a square, I need the inverse operation. The inverse operation of squaring is square root. And whatever I do to one side, you all know I have to do to the other side. Okay? And so then x squared, taking the square root of it, gets rid of that. So I'm going to be left with just x is equal to, what is the square root of 361? Again, we have tricks. If you need a review of them, I am absolutely happy to either make another video of that later on if people ask for it, or just come to me and ask for clarification of those. But it is 19, and this is one of those facts you should know. And if you did your multiplication table all the way out on the day of the SOL, I would go from 0 to 20, and you're going to have this written down. Now, the square root of x is 20. Okay, maybe I draw a picture. So what's inside of the radical is inside of the box. So that means that this is x. Okay, well then that means that this is 20. Oh, well I find that then by 20 times 20 gives me what's inside the box. So that tells me that x is 400. Okay. Now, last question. X is equal to the square root of 49. Again, with inside the radical goes inside my square if you need to see it that way. So I'm taking the square root of 49. So if 49 is inside the box, then what can I multiply? What can I have perfectly on this outside edges that's going to give me x? If I go back to the video I made the first time, then I would have my times table, and I could see, looking for 49, oh, and that is at 7. So that means that my side links here are each 7, so x equals 7. Okay. There are 2 word problems and 3 versions of the type of math you might see attached to square roots. I hope this helps. And if you have more questions, please feel free to reach out, send me an email, or come by my classroom.